Hello everyone, I made a little framework for experimental interactive typography. It's called PeelType, and I wanted to showcase a little bit of what it is. It all started because I wanted to make this little story, which is called Peel After Reading. And in this story, I'm telling some personal stuff. And I thought the best way of showing it was with interactive site typography. So basically you have these loose letters which you can peel, and it will advance the story as you peel them. Also there is a lot of experimentation in the layout, like for example here the letters are being drawn to this point, which acts like a little black hole, and as you can see the letters like interact with the environment and with each other. And it all has like lots of little interactions as you progress in the story. Like for example here, scraping bit by bit, you really manage to grip it with your nails. When you get to this part, you can't really keep peeling and you have to peel really hard. So lots of little things. It's very narrative, but it also, as I said, has these little things like when you peel lead, it will like do particle systems. Lots of peel modes, like right now I'm peeling first the vocals and then the consonants. So it has lots of stuff. I will showcase it, and also not to spoil the story, which I recommend reading. So I will start with the peel modes. Basically it's linear, also zigzag, which goes left to right and then right to left. You can also do circular and circular inside out, so it will peel from the center. Also random, so any letter on the paragraph will be chosen at random. This is drunken, which is like a random like progression of choosing the letters. Alternating ends, outward, inward, center, like geometric center of the paragraph. Random neighbors, which is like random but a bit more coherent. And everything is editable in the editor. I will show. So if I apply and reset, I can just change the text here and everything will work. It updates live. You can even unfreeze and peel it on the editor itself. You can even add like BB code, so like bold or italics. You can change the color of specific words. Even like strike through, and lots of animations, gradients, changing the size in specific letters, changing the font in specific letters. I have support for Google fonts, and lots more things I will show later. But basically in this editor you can do everything. You can choose the way it peels, the mode it has. This is all the modes I've shown. How many initially peeled words you have, and everything has like a little informational pop-ups. So you know that everything in the that you see in the examples you can then edit easily. I will show this. It has support for saving on local storage, so I will remember where this one was, but it won't remember this one. This one will reset, so that can be done in the editor. Lots of different types of gradients and colors. This is just a solid paragraph. You can change the color here to whatever you want, but here you have actual gradients. So if I apply and reset, you will see that this gradient like is being applied to the whole paragraph, which is different from this, which is doing it sequentially to the letters. So it will go to each letter and do like a little gradient. It has presets for gradients. It has stopping position for gradients. You can add more stops for more colors. Like radial, this one was simple gradient, like linear, but this can be, you can also do it radial. You can do random colors on each letter. You can do random variation for a color. So you can have more or less variation of luminosity. This is not in the final story, But it's also interesting. I've been experimenting a lot in these examples with narrative, like it says in Spanish, no, I'm okay, and then you start peeling from the tongue and you start to see what was behind. So it has a lot of things I haven't explored yet in full stories, like this, which is drawing the paragraphs, which you can also edit in the editor. You can either draw like this, or you can like apply a pattern or a preset, and then you can edit and you can see live the result, and you can even peel it. If you stop editing, you can peel it and see everything live. It has support for like simple behaviors like this, like the whole story is bigger than this, but I will only show 2 paragraphs at once, or 3, or however many you want, and it will show more as you peel. This is my favorite mechanic too, which is instead of peeling the text, you peel the censoring of the text. This one was an idea by Staff Wombat, Josh, and it's great. I think it's my favorite thing of this collection of ideas. This is also his idea, which was like, hey, how about you do like a meaning shift? So you have an initial paragraph about something, and then when you peel it, it means the opposite. So it's a paragraph about how you're not going to forget that person because of this and that and that. But as you peel, you see some words start ordering, and then in the end, what it says is, in the end, I was going to forget you after all. So it shifts the meaning. It basically inverts the meaning. This is another play on words in Spanish. I'm going to remove these spaces here, and then it's going to mean something different. Also removing noise. So these letters don't really mean anything, and they are in between the words, and as you can see, it does like a little pathfind thing. This is like intrusive thoughts that you have to peel, and they will sequentially appear as loose letters, so you can go one by one and kind of clean the thoughts of this character of this story. And then this is like the same thing, but you can choose any of these and it will automatically pathfind its way. And removing all of these noise letters, that noise words that don't really mean anything, you will unveil the full paragraph with the actual meaning. And there is a lot of that here. It's all very easy to do. This is all just using the tags I mentioned. The peel tags, I'm using them with all of these thoughts, and then the shake tag. So there are a lot of animations, also floating animation, so the text hovers around and stuff. It's a lot of options in that sense. The force fields are also really cool. So you can set up different forces, like this is an attraction force, this is a repulsion force. So if you see, it tries to go away from this point. This has wind, so if I pull on it a little bit, the weight of the letters will move it. This is the same but with the cursor. So this has like a little effect as a preview on the letters that doesn't really affect the physics, it's just visual. And this is the same but without the active cursor effect on the words. Looks much cooler on the one that is interactive. This one actually tells you what it is. So this is clearly for attraction, and this is clearly for retraction. If you pull a little bit, you can already like peel it by yourself, and it's really fun. This is also done in the behavior tab. You can add force fields, and you can choose which blocks are affected with commas. So you can put in commas here which blocks of the story are attracted by which force field. You can do the same in a simpler way. Instead of having to set up a whole force field and stuff, you can have just an effect right here. You can enable here some letter motion effects, which are simpler to set up. You just enable orbit and buoyancy, and now what will happen is that as I pull, they will orbit and have some upwards motion towards a specific point, and the letters will mix and it will look pretty interesting. You can do very interesting things with color and motion. Also, you can do constraints, so basically you can choose two different paragraphs that have different words and different properties, and basically tethering them together so you can peel them at once, and you can do very complicated stuff like this. You can also do transforms, so as I've shown on the editor, you can just edit everything and everything will work. You can do relative moving of the paragraphs, you can change the text size like this too. You can also do events, so this is all over the story, so you can add illustration as I've shown, and you can add also little things that happen, like that particle, or this will make some sounds. You can also add particles when you peel the words, and these particles can spawn other particles. You can also do events, like when you reach that part of the sentence, it says, and then what happened is that there was a hydraulic propulsion, and then actual hydraulic propulsion happens, and then you can also make things appear, like an eye came out and a lung came out, and literal objects came out of the words, and you can, like, they don't have to be letters, they could be illustrations. There is support for all of that here too, and it's all conditional, so you can make it so here when the word complete, when the word pulmon is complete, you add a physics object, and in that physics object you can add like an illustration instead of a simple letters. You can also, as I said, add particles on word complete, or you can change the ambient sounds of the game when something happens. So when this paragraph appears, some background noise starts happening, or you can do like different targets, right? When last reading this part, you can choose a preset, or you can make your own. You can say how much it takes or how much it delays. You can also delay the paragraphs, so when you finish peeling them, it won't progress to the next one until you have finished the last one. Lots of things. These are all the peelable illustrations. You can choose presets for them, so you can load your own, or you can choose your local files from this list, and it will let you lets you choose your own folder. You can also change the texture of the way the lines are rendered. So basically what's going on here is that I'm loading an SVG, and this SVG is being interpreted, and all of the peelable lines are being rendered on top of it. You can control how many lines are rendered, how many of the initial peel are loose. So if I add more, you will see that it's a little bit looser. And yeah, you can change the stroke width and everything, and this too. So it's dotted, or you can do it dashed or sketch. Many ways to interpret those SVGs, and it also supports animated SVG. So if I go to the next one, you will see that this SVG is animated, which means that basically if you load it into After Effects, or if you load it with a special plugin on Illustrator, you can draw vector shapes and then you can animate them with transforms. So this engine supports them, so it will add the peelable lines in the right place, and it will animate it with the object. You can also do this kind of compound shapes, so you can add to this object a special fragment that will stick to it. It will be with it until you peel it out and the actual object. Yeah, you can do also custom paths. So basically this is a custom path I just wrote in code, and you can hard code primitives, like for example these lines and these triangles, they are all hard coded. it also supports actions. So for example, that day everything ended or in the best possible way is what this says. So when you peel it, now it says that day everything ended. And then there is a little wait and a button appears. And when I press it, it says the end. So all of this is programmable. So you do a timed button. It happens when you finish the peel, when you reach the no peel block, which is this, which is a tag as well. And the time button, you can put any text you want to add after it. Everything is, all of these tools are available open source to extend. Also, yeah, lots of experiments like this, like paragraphs that are tethered to their own line. So you can invert the order of the letters. You can also do peeling that is selective. Like for example, this is the vocal first, and then the consonants. This is odds and then evens. This first letter of every word. These are syllables, so it supports Spanish and English right now. It will detect the syllables in each word, and if you see, it will sílabas cambia el tacto memoria. So it will peel per syllable instead of per letter, and this will do the first syllable of every word. This will do the last syllable of every word, and then put punctuation last. So it has a lot of content to do interesting narrative stuff with. This is conditional narrative. I will show directly the visual novel one. So you find a letter on the floor, 2 words face up, and then you can open it and you can leave it, and depending on what you do, it will show you different stuff. And all of this you can, as I said, modify it directly on the editor. And lots of experimental stuff like cascading letters in a grid, so you have to peel each one individually. Also the rupture point I shown, so this you can't really pull, but if you pull really hard it will actually rip, and then you can keep peeling. Also shape constrained text, so you can do paragraphs and you can constrain those paragraphs to shapes. I'm using pretext, the JavaScript library, to do this. And you can either use my presets or you can load your own SVG shape, and the text will be constrained to that. There are a lot of presets, and that's basically about it. This short story has pretty much everything I've shown except a few things. I'm using kind of every trick in the book. I won't be supporting the editor. I won't be supporting this project anymore. I have to move on with other stuff, and I got rejected from some residencies. But if anyone is interested, feel free to fork and do your own thing. Please credit me, mostly because I want to see what people do with this. Feel free to write your own stories with this using the editor. You can just press the JSON button and download the data from your new story. You can click new to create a new story, and you can make a new story and add it to the project. It's fairly easy. There is some documentation of the project, but if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. But yeah, it's all pretty user-friendly. There are probably bugs in the editor, but you can definitely make like a full interactive story with this. So I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for your attention. Goodbye.